Good evening. Welcome to the Thursday, September 5th, 2024 regular meeting of the City of Menifee Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission meeting. My name is David Faust, and I am the chair of the commission. I'll call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Could we have a roll call?
Chair Faust?
Here.
Vice Chair Tremblay?
Here.
Commissioner Ackerman?
Here.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Here.
Commissioner Peterson?
Here.
Thank you. I've asked Commissioner Tremblay to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're now on item number 4, presentations. 4.1, School Year 2024-25 Youth Leader of Menifee Officer Introductions.
All right, good evening, and thank you for allowing us to introduce our 2024-2025 Youth Leaders of Menifee Officer Team. We're really excited. We have a well-assembled team this year. Our Youth Leaders of Menifee program is for high school students, for those that live or attend school here in Menifee. The students that we're going to be introducing today are the ones that took extra initiative to apply for an officer position, which means they're going to be taking on additional responsibilities throughout the school year to provide activities and programs and events for kids and teens. So I want to thank Commissioner Tremblay and Ackerman for sitting in on the interview panel to help select these amazing students. And I'm first going to start by introducing our elected president and vice president of Youth Leaders of Menifee. We have Alessandra and Naomi.
Hello everyone, I'm Alessandra Pimentel. I'm serving as the president of Youth Leaders of Menifee for the 2024-2025 team. When I first began with the program, I remember being placed in a room filled with ambitious teenagers eager to make a difference in the city. At every event, I'd spot our youth leaders putting in their effort and time to give our community the best experience they could get. Each year, I saw new and returning faces, but never an idle moment. Therefore, we have decided to implement the theme of excellence for this new term, as it will set an example of who we are. Excellence is a key ingredient in establishing a successful team. We hope that as we move forward throughout the school year, every individual will strive for excellence, because excellence is not simply about getting close to perfection, but about achieving a performance that carries passion and grit. When we give to our community with a purpose behind our actions, we create a passion for our work ethic. This ignites a driven team of leaders to work excellently. We can only achieve a performance of impeccable quality once we have established a team of young leaders who desire to serve their community and strive to become a better versions of themselves. And thank you for listening. I will pass this on to my vice president.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Naomi Cepeda, and I will be the vice president for this year's term. This year, we will continue to strive as a team and motivate young-minded people of Menifee to accomplish the new goals we have set for this new term. In doing so, we plan to make more events and activities for our youth. For instance, we're going to implement many more art-related events for our teens to bring their creativity and meet new people, offering new opportunities for them to excel as a member of our community and as a student. Youth Leaders of Menifee is an amazing program for teenagers to get involved with our city of Menifee. We get the opportunity to earn so many different topics and earn community service too. At the same time, teens will develop lifelong skills that would benefit them in the future. We plan on collaborating with some clubs from our local high schools and to inspire more students to serve our city, which will further expand the involvement of our program. Thank you all for your time and have a wonderful evening.
Now I'd like to introduce the teams for the 2024 and 2025 term. So can you guys please rise and come over here?
Hi, my name is Tori Winchester. I'm an 11th grader at Paloma Valley High School, and I am a youth mentor lead, and I have 3 years of YLM experience.
Hello, everybody. I'm Cecilia Briamontes. I am a senior at Liberty High School, and I am a part of the Teen Activities Lead, and I have 4 years of Youth Leaders of Menifee. Thank you, everybody.
Hello, everybody. My name is Alexander Casillas. I am a senior at Liberty High School, and my team is the teen team. I've been in YLM for the past 3 years now recently, having been the vice president last year, and thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alina Fanous. I am a sophomore in high school. I go to Western Center Academy, and I am part of the youth team, and this is my first year of the Youth Leaders of Menifee.
Hello, my name is Jessica Pham. I'm in 12th grade, and I go to Paloma Valley High School. I am part of the team, and this is also my first year as a youth leader member. Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Xander Arroyo. I am a junior at Liberty High School. I will be a part of the Green Team this year, and this is my second year in the YLM program. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aiden Pena. I'm a junior at Paloma Valley High School. I am part of the Green Team, and this is also my first year of YLM.
All right. I also want to introduce two members that weren't able to be here today. We have AJ Rodriguez, who goes to Paloma Valley High School, and this is his 4th year with the Youth Leaders of Menifee program, and also Miley Lundstrom, who goes to Paloma Valley High School, and this is her 1st year with the Youth Leaders of Menifee. So you'll be seeing these amazing teens out at city events and programs throughout the year, so you'll get to know them well as they do community service for the department and the community as a whole. So we want to thank you for your time, and we'll see you out there.
Thank you. Thank you, all our youth leaders of Menifee, for being here tonight and introducing yourselves. Item 4.2, new employee introduction. Luis Marino, Park Ranger.
All right. I'll go ahead and introduce him for a second here. So our new ranger, he's been with us a couple months. We've been training him, he's learning the parks, learning our trail system and everything. We've put him through some other training, so he's ready to be out in the field. He'll be helping with our dig session, our intern programs, and obviously the patrol at the parks and everything. So you'll see him on the weekends, the evenings, but I'll let Louis give a little background of himself and what he does, and hopefully he's excited to be here. So,
okay.
Definitely excited to be here. Yeah, I'm Luis Marino. A little bit about me. I've been married for 6 years, got a little baby girl on the way, first time. And I've been in Parks and Recreation since 2017. Started my seasonal work with the county. That's parks, campgrounds, open spaces, yeah. Did that for a few years, and then my last assignment before here was for a nonprofit. And so I got the county, nonprofit, and now I'm here in the city. And yeah, it's been great.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, welcome, Louis. We're at item 4.3, Community Services Department Employees of the Quarter. Gabby.
Hello and good evening, Chair and Commissioners. I'd like to present to you our CSD Employees of the Quarter. So several months ago, and every quarter, we asked our community services team to nominate their colleagues who they believe have exemplified the qualities that make our department so awesome. So that's customer service. You know, all of our nominees exceed expectations, provide consistent, positive, and timely service, both to our internal and external customers. They are respectful, approachable, and work well with members of other divisions with an overall emphasis on department goals. They are also proactive, often demonstrating independent decision-making, and don't hesitate to go the extra mile to take on new or complicated assignments. This quarter, we received 10 nominations that were reviewed and filtered through a selection committee and determined 1 part-time and 1 full-time employee for this quarter. At this time, can I ask our commissioners to come forward to help present a plaque to our employees of the quarter? First, I'd like to begin with our part-time employee of the quarter, Ariana Martinez. Ari, can you please come forward to be acknowledged? This is what her nominator had to say about her. Ari has been an excellent team member since her early days as a high school volunteer. She has most recently taken the lead for summer camps and has been a rock star with it. She knows exactly what needs to be done and gets it done without having to be asked or reminded. She has been an amazing mentor to all of our seasonal summer staff who look up to her for guidance and direction. She is helping to mold our new up-and-coming staff to be star employees. Because of Ari's hard work and dedication, summer camps have been running super smoothly and the kids are having a blast and staff feel supported and prepared. Ari always goes above and beyond and never complains. Her work sometimes goes unnoticed, but everything she does contributes to the overall success of youth programs. There is no one more deserving than Ari to be recognized for this Employee of the Quarter. Thank you, Ari. Next, our full-time employee of the quarter, Joseph Powell, could not be here with us tonight, but I'll go ahead and say what his nominator had to say about him, and then I'll hand the mic over to Bryce to say a few words as well. So his nominator said, Joe has been irreplaceable this time of year. As we get back into the season when we are watering the parks at a high rate, there tends to be an abundance of issues that come along with it. Joe not only maintains one of our largest parks, but he also helps to oversee the other 21 parks that we maintain. Joe always makes himself available to help the rest of the maintenance team, whether it be by physically helping or imparting his knowledge to help others understand their own tasks in the field. Joe is always there to help anyone on the maintenance team. He has worked in the department for a number of years and has a vast understanding of the way to maintain every aspect of the parks, knowledge that he is always willing to share to better the team as a whole. Through the years, Joe has worked his way up from a part-time maintenance worker to a worker 1, then a worker 2, and he now oversees all our parks as the senior maintenance worker. He has a wealth of knowledge and experience that helps him to oversee the city of Menifee's beautiful parks. Bryce, did you want to say?
I'll say a little bit. A lot of what I was going to say was already in the speech that she gave there, but no. So Joe has been with us for 8 years, actually. Just like Gabby said, he started from part-time worker, worked his way up all the way to our maintenance lead. So he oversees, he's the lead for 22 parks that we have here in the city. So he does a big help. He's always helping out with events. He's always helping out that. And Joe also is a local resident. He coaches in the community, and then he helps his family business in the community. So he is involved in the community, not just working here. So it's well deserved for Joe. So
Thank you. Thank you, Debbie. Congratulations, Joe and Ari. Thank you so much. We're now at item 4.4, Cabian Park upgrades.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Kyla Brown, and I am the Parks Director and General Manager for Riverside County Regional Park and Open Space District. And I have my colleague Gabby Adami Elgram here with me. She's in charge of our planning, development, and interpretation. She is leading the effort on this project. I wanted to just talk to you about KBM Park. We are going to be making quite a bit of improvements to the park coming up here pretty soon. Those improvements will include improvements at the entry point, so the gate, and adding a new monument. Roadway improvements. If you've been to that park, you probably feel a little nervous driving your car in. It's a little bumpy. It's free massage. We will be regrading and doing a DG parking lot. Utility infrastructure updates, including the water, sprinkler system, electricity, and then improve park amenities, a new restroom, rubberized service play area, ADA walkways, new tables, barbecue grills, and painting to just improve the aesthetics of the park. This gives you an idea of what the existing entryway looks like on the left and the design for the new entryway that will be built. This is being funded 100% through American Recovery Plan Act funding, ARPA. Supervisor Jeffries has allocated approximately $2 million to this project to be constructed. The construction timeline, you'll see we're actually almost to groundbreaking within the next few months here. It's already been awarded. The park will be impacted during construction. It will be closed to the public, and we expect that construction to take about 9 months, potentially up to a year, but looking like 9 months. And we're here to answer any questions that you might have regarding the project.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Any questions, commissioners? No, thank you. We're excited about the improvements. A lot of Menifee residents use that park as it's right adjacent to our city.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're at item 5, approval of minutes. 5.1, the approval of the June 20th, 2024 special meeting minutes. Any comments on the minutes or corrections, commissioners? Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Meeting minutes have been approved. We're now at item 6, agenda approval or modifications. Any modifications to the agenda?
No modifications.
Okay, thank you. We're now at item 7, public comments on non-agenda items only. Any last-minute requests for public comment? Going once, going twice. Lori has nothing to say. Well, I do. Okay. Okay, thank you. Then we'll move forward with, we're on agenda item 8, discussion items. 8.1, senior programming and transportation program updates. This is a receive and file.
Good evening, commissioners. I'm here to provide you a senior programs and transportation programs update today. My name is Aisha Jamat Wilson, community services coordinator that oversees the senior programs and transportation, veteran services, and cultural arts. So let's see. Right, so the senior program is a happening place to be. We are, for the 23-24 year, we've offered over 240 activities with over 10,000 participants in our program. We offer a variety of card games, fitness programs, and education workshops on a monthly basis. The daily programs, like I mentioned, are the card games and the fitness programs that we offer a variety times during the week. Some of our partnerships that really impact our senior center are our congregate food program and our food box program. So in our congregate food program, we offer, we've served over 17,000 meals. We run our congregate meal program Monday through Friday from 11:30 to 12:30. So it's open to any seniors 62 and above at a donation, basically no cost, but it's based on donation. But if they're younger, they could still participate in the congregate meal, but there's a $9.50 fee for eating at the program. But we average approximately like about 80 participants every day. In addition to that, we serve food boxes to all seniors 60 and above on a monthly basis. And we've served over 11,000 boxes this past year, and it seems to continue to grow. The last few months, we've been averaging about 1,000 boxes a month. So this program is open to all seniors. They don't need to register beforehand. They just show up on our food box day. We serve at La Ladera Park, and it's on a drive-through basis. So they just sign up in line. Participants, our partners, Community Action Partnership and the OC Food Bank help with the registration process. They get a card that's good for a whole year, and then they go through the line, and then we put the boxes in their trunks or wherever they want us to put it. So we serve this on a monthly basis, and it's a great collaborative. This program actually started right before COVID hit, that last week of February, and it's been something that was very helpful for our community, and it's just continued to grow. So now, like I mentioned, we serve over 1,000 participants. So as we continue to grow, we've been fortunate to collaborate with a lot of different organizations in the community to offer a variety of partnerships. So some of the things that we offer that is offered by other community community organizations are the caregiver workshop, which is offered by the community Riverside County Office on Aging, and then we have the bereavement group that's offered by Hospice of the Valley. The Community Action Partnership actually offers the utility assistance program, and they come in on a weekly basis to help any seniors and any community members in need of utility assistance. And then we have the Inland Empire Legal Aid that offers legal aid assistance at free. All the seniors and even residents could call and get legal advice, and they'll direct them in the right direction if they need a lawyer, or if they just need simple documents. That's something that they could do, and they just need to make an appointment. And then we have our High Cap program that offers Medicare education to our seniors to provide non-biased information on what they should expect and just educate them on just Medicare overall. So we like to definitely want to get all our seniors involved one way or the other, and so we're continually trying to expand our programs in every way possible. Some of the new fitness programs that we've included this year are Uchi Kumi, which is basically like a Japanese-based drumming that helps enhance muscle memory. So we're able to offer that once a week, and then we have our advanced classes that come in different days of the week, and they actually go more into the drumming. So they've actually been out in the community and been in our parades. So the seniors really enjoy. That class is pretty popular. We didn't know if it was going to grow, but it is very popular, and we're trying to figure out how to plug them in a little bit more because a lot of people enjoy that. And then we have our yoga class that's offered a couple times a week, and then we have our walking education program, which is Walk With Ease, was based off the Arthritis Foundation, and it just helps people manage their some of the chronic illness and just ways to live healthier. And I'm going to jump back because I think I missed one thing. We have a workshop coming up on the 26th of September, and it's the Community Action Partnership. And so this is open to all our seniors, and they're going to provide an overview on some of the utility assistance program, how to qualify, what you need, the type overview of the application process. They're going to also go over the weatherization project that they have and grants that seniors may need. Also the volunteer tax assistant program, which they come to our community service department and offer free tax assistance. They did that this past year. And then Tech for Success. So it's basically a technology program where they offer free computers after completing some computer classes. And then our Cool and Warm Center, which we are in the midst of our Cool Center right now, where people could come and just find a place to cool down. Not only are we a Cool Center, but also the public library as well. And next month, or actually we're already in September, so this month we are action-packed. I kind of put an overview of a variety of activities that we're offering, but I'd like to highlight a few. We have our Grandparent Appreciation Day going on the September 9th. This month is Emergency Preparedness Month, so we have our Be Red Cross Ready taking place next month, and it's geared for our seniors, how to get ready, what to do in case of an emergency, some of the things that they should plan ahead, how to create a kit to keep them, their emergency gear in a place, and just what things that they should have. We have our Age Well, Drive Well class. It's a defensive driving class that CHP offers on September 25th, and basically they'll go over just as we age, things that we need to remember, and then at the end of the class, they get a certificate that will be that can be turned into their insurance company for a discount. And then on the 26th, like I mentioned, is our Community Action Partnership presentation. Then moving on to transportation. So our Menifee Specialized Transportation Program started in October of 2022. We're going into our second year. And we've been really hitting the ground running and providing information on what transportation services that we have. We offer monthly workshops to our seniors and providing them the different options that they have, as well as in addition to our like Go-Go Grandparent program. So we also go out in the community and do that as well. We provide a pamphlet of just a variety of options that we have available on our webpage and in our senior center. So like I mentioned, we started a couple years ago, and from 2022 to 2024, where we're at now, we've had a large increase of our numbers. People are utilizing this, our caravan service. Majority of our seniors that utilize our program come out of the Sun City area. They go into, a lot of them utilize it for their medical needs, and as well as some of their just daily needs, such as going to the shopping for groceries, Target, and as well as picking up medication. So to provide a quick overview, we have our number of trips that we have. We started off in 2023, 542, and we've jumped up to over 2,500 trips. Mileage 5476 in that first year, and the year's a bit lower in 2022 because we did start in October, but then the program really didn't jumpstart until late December, early January, when the word really got out for the transportation. So you'll see that large shift. But mileage from 5,400 to 24,000 for the year. At number of new passengers, 60 in 22, 23, and then 98. And then for, just to clarify, for new passengers, the way Caravan documents that is once they ride Caravan for the first time, they document them as a new passenger. So we could take the registration, but they're not going to document them as a new passenger until they take their first trip on Caravan. And then our presentations, a number of participants that we've encountered is for 22-23, 102, and then 23-24, 77. So we're constantly doing outreach. We provide this information as far as transportation in all of our events that we have. And so definitely basically we have a lot of new projects in the community. So we have new community members interested in what's going on. And one of the top questions is, what kind of transportation do you offer? And so we always give them the rundown of what is to offer, and how they could utilize it, how they could register, and then the point of contacts for those different transportation program. So in addition to the transportation program, we also have a program called the Go-Go Grandparent. And I know I was here about a year ago and we talked about it, on what the Go-Go Grandparent was, what it entailed. So I know we have some new commissioners, so I'll provide a quick overview, but our Go-Go Grandparent is a program that helps provide door-to-door transportation like Uber and Lyft. They run similar to that, where a senior could call and any time, 24/7, to get picked up and dropped off. Originally, our Go-Go Grandparent program was the new participants qualified once they were enrolled into our Caravan program. And then as the program grew for Caravan service, we realized we needed to tweak it a little bit more, because Caravan is unfortunately not able to keep up with the demand, and we're working on how we're gonna be able to support that. But what we did is we tweaked our Go-Go Grandparent program so that anybody who needs a ride, we could enroll them, and they actually will qualify now for 4 one-way rides to anywhere within, I would say, the Southwest region. So when we did a lot of our surveying of like where the needs of their rides were, and we found out that the needs were going outside the city for their doctor's appointments. So it was more, originally our perimeter entailed the borderline of Marietta, so the Kaiser and the Loma Linda Hospital, but we had seniors that needed to go a little bit further into Marietta and into Temecula. So we wanted to help and accommodate those needs. So we expanded the service for Go-Go Grandparent. So that includes Marietta, Temecula, Lake Elsinore, and Paris. Eligibility is just Menifee resident, and you have to be 62 and above, or a person with disability. So, and then once they could continue the Go-Go Grandparent at their own cost, once they utilize their 4 free rides. this completes my update. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Aisha. I do have a couple questions. What percentage of the 2,500 rides last fiscal year are seniors trying to get to the senior center for the activities and events that happen
We
there?
do. I would say, just because I know the regulars, so I would say a good like 15%. The rest are going to doctor's appointments and doing their daily needs as far as going to grocery stores and, picking up prescriptions. So.
And how about for seniors that want to go to the food box pickup? Can they use these services because that means kind of waiting in line, right? So
Correct. So
how do we get food boxes to those that need transportation?
So we've been, we do have quite a few actually volunteers that live within the different communities. So in Sun City, we have a few volunteers that actually help other seniors get their food box. For any seniors that are in need and they can't pick up their food box, we always let them know that they could call the senior center, and then we will go ahead and set aside the food box and bring it back to the senior center, and we can make arrangements to get their food box to them.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Any questions, Commissioner Peterson?
Yeah, I'm just curious, do you have, for the caravan, is there just one vehicle in service or is there multiple?
So there is multiple. They do have like a 16-passenger bus, and then they have a van. They're both ADA accessible. I know when they started the program, when we started in 2022, one of the things that they're still in need of is their bus, and it is back ordered. They've been back ordered for some time, so we're hoping sometime if not by the end of the year or the beginning of the year, that we'll have that bus, but they do rotate with 2 vehicles to transport the seniors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
I do have a question about the food boxes. I actually live near La Ladera, and I've seen how those cars just wrap around 2 or 3 blocks. What number of boxes, you probably said it, I'm sorry if I missed it, but what number of boxes do they hand out on a given Thursday?
Right now, we're averaging about 1,000.
1,000?
1,000.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting. I forgot what other question I had, but thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, commissioners?
I just want to commend you guys on what you're doing over there. I go to the yoga program, and it's wonderful, and everything you do is wonderful. And when I leave the yoga program, I just see the place is just full with people, and it's a great place for our seniors to be. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's where we want to. We want to be the premier place to be, the senior center, besides the youth center. So that's the next stop, but that's what we like.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I was just curious for the drumming class that you said was very popular. Is that only for seniors, or can other people slide into that one?
55 plus. Sorry, I know we actually, you know what? Some of the classes are like that. We've had, parents. We have Spanish class too, so like parents are asking to get in, and we say, unfortunately, we do only offer it to seniors. So. But if she offers it, she's looking to expanding to all ages. So we will provide an update when we do that, when she does that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Thank you, Aisha. I'm so proud of what we do in our community for our seniors, and your team works really hard to make sure that our seniors have lots of resources and activities and options to help them, and appreciate Gloria Sanchez and our Senior Advisory Council as well that supports all those events. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, we're at item 8.2, Aquatics Program Review. Sounds like Gabby's going to give that to us.
Hello again. So I'm here to give a brief overview of our aquatics program. We had our first summer season this past summer. So as you are aware, on December 6th, Council approved the city manager to execute an MOU with Paris Union High School District. So here is a brief overview of our MOU terms. So Paris Union High School District would provide use of aquatic facilities when the regular school year is not in session or in use. They would be charging us $15 per hour for the facility use fee, which would be evaluated on an annual basis, and they would take care of general maintenance, repair, and cleaning. On our side, the city would organize and implement aquatic programs. We would staff these programs based on current PUHSD hiring practices that include the appropriate certifications, drug and alcohol screening, TB screening, and a background check. And then additionally, we would align our safety protocols with the district's safety and industry standards. The initial term included once the MOU was signed, and it would go through June 30th of 2026. However, there is an ability to expand to other Paris Union High School district sites upon mutual agreement. So since then, we have implemented, as I mentioned, our first summer aquatics program. So back in May, we launched the May is Water Safety Month campaign to really talk about, drowning prevention and water safety in general. Drowning is the leading cause of injury-related death among children ages 1 to 4. So really with that in mind, we were very intentional and strategic in how we planned our aquatics program. Our priority, again, was drowning prevention with a focus on our Learn to Swim lessons, and then taking a look at recreation swim and lap swim opportunities. So as we were preparing for our program, we really had to develop the schedule and be able to figure out what we would be able to offer, and that really rested upon the the pool's availability at Paloma Valley High School, and really our ability to staff the programs. So once we were able to figure out what their swim schedule and their summer school schedule looked like, we planned around that. We took a lot of staffing. We recruited via social media, online platforms. We also visited Paloma Valley High School, swim programs, Heritage High School, as well as Santa Rosa Academy to talk to their students and really get them interested in the program and get certified so that they were ready for the position and the hiring process. So as you can see, we offered Learn to Swim lessons, 3 sessions of it. Each session was 2 weeks long. It was Monday through Thursday, 30 minutes each day. So as we were looking at the program and what we were able to offer, we reached a little bit of an obstacle when we realized that there was a severely limited shallow space in the pool. So we had to pivot our program offerings. So with the priority of maintaining safety for our participants. So in a 13-lane junior Olympic pool, we actually only had 1 lane that remained at a 4-foot depth or less, with the remainder of the pool sitting at 7 feet. So this meant that our rec swim occupancy was drastically cut down and to 30 max, so that we could ensure that they were safe in the shallow end of the pool in the event that they were unable to swim on their own. And we also had to adjust our Learn to Swim lessons in order to fit everyone safely in the shallow end and kind of go from there. So after we had session 1, we were able to really assess the situation and able to add additional advanced classes in the deep end of the pool, as well as an additional class session in the time slot that was originally reserved for staff to transition the pool. And really that allowed us to provide more services to our residents. Lessons, registration was filled weeks before summer began, and we actually had over 200 people on the waiting list. So there was definitely a need for it, and we did what we could to meet those needs. So here's just a quick overview of our staff in action this summer. We had quite a few staff members that actually came out of Paloma Valley High School, Heritage, Santa Rosa, and some additional neighboring cities as well. And so today I wanted to briefly talk about the fiscal impact moving forward as we continue to grow our aquatics program. So some things just to keep in mind regarding the budget moving forward is that our summer programs are unique in that it spans multiple fiscal years. The implementation, the planning takes place, towards the end of the fiscal year, with it ending in the beginning of the next fiscal year. So today we'll be talking a little bit about what that means for the existing site at Paloma Valley High School, as well as the potential to start a secondary site in summer 2025. However, that will require a mid-year budget request and is also, of course, subject to funding availability and City Council approval. And then the subsequent year's budget for our next biennial budget will be proposed soon, but again, subject to funding. And we are recommending adjusting our revenue projections due to that limited shallow space available at Paris Union High School aquatic facilities. So here we have a brief overview of our single site for aquatics program. So in the darker blue is what is already currently budgeted in this biennial year, this fiscal year, at Paloma Valley High School. So the numbers are there based on our personnel costs and our operational costs. Because this is the second year, we have a little bit less of implementation costs since we already have equipment and supplies that we've already purchased. So moving forward, for the next biennial budget, we would be requesting a similar amount just to maintain that single site. And just to break it down in terms of personnel, non-personnel costs, personnel would include a community services, two community service leaders, and essentially their job is at the very front. It's to greet our parents, ensure registration is taken, answer any questions, direct any questions, provide information on any of our other resources or programs, to check in parents and students, and to just be an additional set of hands on site. We have 15 lifeguards whose job is to maintain the safety of the pool deck, the facility, and the pool itself. So they are there for life-saving measures if needed, and luckily this year we did not have to perform any rescues. Additionally, we have water safety instructors, and what makes them a little bit more unique is that they all are lifeguard certified. However, they have an additional certification that allows them to teach swim lessons. So we utilize the curriculum approved by the American Red Cross for their Learn to Swim programs. And so we maintain a ratio of 1 instructor to 6 students or 6 swimmers. And from there, they teach approved curriculum by American Red Cross. And then additionally, we have, our request was for 2 pool managers, and the pool managers essentially are our supervisory, eyes and ears and body on site. So they are there to supervise the program, supervise staff, and supervise the participants, answering any questions they might have, and really just being the point of contact for both our staff and our patrons. And then going into our operational costs, that includes a variety of different, equipment, supplies, but also, things such as our facility use fees, any training, additional training that we have to send staff to, their certifications as well, lifeguard uniforms, storage, etc. And so, as mentioned, that first our year 2 budget has already been allocated, and today we are discussing if we decide to continue the program, what we would be requesting in the next biennial budget for just a single site. So in addition to the proposal to continue the aquatics program, staff did take a look and assess costs for the possibility of adding a secondary site. Our recommendation would be Heritage High School. So as year 2 of the aquatics program, but what would be year 1 of a secondary site, we have costs there. Again, it's a little bit higher because this is a first-time implementation cost, where we'd have to purchase equipment and supplies for a secondary site that cannot be shared between 2 sites. Additionally to that, we have also, again, continuing the program. If we were to move into year 2 and 3 of the second site, there is a proposed budget as well in terms of what that will look like when it comes to personnel and operational costs. And so both of these would be brand new budget requests. And if we were to implement a secondary site in 2025, our request would be at the mid-year. And then just to wrap everything up, really we just want to get Commission's feedback to see what you would like to see moving forward, and then what our future programming options would look like. And essentially our goal is to make sure that the program is sustainable moving forward, provided our budget, our staffing, and our resources, and how we replicate success. And do you guys have any questions?
Thank you, Gabby. I have several questions. First, is there a season pass for recreation swim? I didn't see a cost for that.
There is not a season pass for recreation swim, only for lap swim, because that allows us to reserve lanes. So we were able to reserve up to 2 swimmers in 10 lanes during learn to swim lessons if needed, but not for recreation swim this year.
So it's, we're limited to 30 participants a day on recreational swim.
Correct, because we
And
only
why are
have.
we restricted to 4 feet if people know how to swim?
So we actually perform a swim test every day for every participant that comes in, regardless of if we know their ability, because abilities change from day to day, given different conditions. So our thought process is we can only guarantee 30 because out of those 30 that show up, none may be able to swim in the deep end. None of them may pass for the deep our swim tests on the deep side, so we need to be able to prepare without having to turn anyone away after they've already paid and registered for the program. However, we did allow people to show up on site, see if there was any availability, and then register from their phone if we had space for them.
So do they get like a risk, do they have to qualify every time?
Yes, so they
So
have
how
to
much
qualify
time
every
does that
time.
take?
It's very quick. All they have to do is let one of our lifeguards know that they want to perform a swim test. They go in at the 7 feet, and they simply have to be able to swim across the pool. If they are struggling, if they show that they aren't confident, if they stop, then they will not be eligible for a wristband that day. They are able to retest again later on. It's typically a 3 to 5 hour period, so they could retest. But then on the other side too, as lifeguards are watching the pool and maintaining their safety, if they see that a swimmer that has already passed and received a wristband is now beginning to struggle, whether it's the heat or just their overall ability, then they can also revoke a wristband as well, because we just want to make sure that they are safe in the pool.
And I guess if you had a one beginning of the season checkout and you gave them a wristband, they could trade that with somebody, I guess.
Yes.
But again, so they're competent swimmer, why still are they limited to the 4-foot section?
If they're competent, they can go onto the other side. We just don't know day to day how many competent swimmers will show up.
Okay, and you said there was a ratio, right? So was it 6 to? Did you say 6 to 1 on
Yes.
lifeguard to participants?
So during our Learn to Swim lessons, we have 1 instructor to 6 participants.
Okay, that was the learn to swim.
Yes, but then during our rec swim, typically it's 1 to 25. However, we ensure, because of the sheer size of the pool, because it's a junior Olympic pool, we exceed that ratio just to make sure that every aspect of the pool is covered, whether it's the deep end, the shallow end, or the deck itself.
And with a limit to 30, are we turning away people every day?
We have on several occasions. However, as I mentioned, we do have some people that show up, and if, depending on the time of the day, if we still have the capacity, we have taken a few registrations on site as well, or we've allowed it, and they've been able to register through their phones.
And finally, from me, if we were able to expand and have a second site at Heritage, does it have the same depth limitations as Paloma?
It does. When we were able to present to their swim team, we did notice that it is the same, the layout overall. So unfortunately, 13 lanes, 1 lane of shallow.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioners? Tiara, go ahead.
Is there any difference? I know you're recommending Heritage, but is Liberty also the same situation with their pool? Because I know theirs was built more recent.
I'm not familiar with Liberty's pool itself. However, because Liberty sits outside of Menifee city limits, Heritage High School is our first recommendation.
Okay. And then I know we had a presentation with the discussion of building a community pool. Will this look different if that is implemented? I can't recall when the end date was.
One of the developments that's proposed has a community pool component.
Correct. Menifee Valley does. So that'll be next to between Heritage High School and Heritage Lake Community.
So, do you know when that project will be complete?
I'm not sure when that's going to be started. Yeah, I'm not honestly.
Yeah, they just approved the specific plan, and so the park and community pool is conceptual only. So it just depends on when they start pulling building permits that triggers whether or not they go to full design, and then ultimately building the park and the aquatic center. So it might be some time out.
Okay, and then, thank you so much. The personnel cost is $210,000 per year, and is that just for the months when the program is operating, which looks like is June and July?
Yes, but we also budget because there's planning preparations, so we will start recruiting as early as February, and we slowly bring people on board, such as the pool managers, to assist because our pool managers are also seasonal. But we have a short span of time in order to plan, prep, recruit, and all of the things. So that is, if we were to use anywhere between a 3-month to a 6-month in terms of utilizing our staff, and if we were fully staffed.
Thank you.
Bill?
Thank you, Gabby, for doing this program. You guys took this on and did a great job. Aquatics is dear to my heart. It was part of my... Anyways, I questioned 15 lifeguards. That's more than one per lane. And
Yes, so at any given time, we typically have 6 to 7 lifeguards that allows for full coverage of the pool.
Okay.
That was also based on what the pool availability might look like. So if we were to run programs a little bit earlier, a little bit later, we'd have to allow for different shifts of lifeguards so they'd be able to relieve each other.
so there's not 15 lifeguards on deck at
Correct.
one time.
It would be
Okay, thank
15
you.
total on staff so that we'd
Thank
be able
you.
to switch them out and of course have some substitutes available in case of callouts.
Thank you. And I definitely see the need for a city pool, and when that comes about and we can look at the design of that pool, make sure there's enough shallow water to get all these lessons in. And with 200 people on a waiting list for lessons, I see a need for a second facility, you know, moving ahead, you know, to get as many kids to learn to swim as possible in this city. So, thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I agree. Les?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Mo.
Oh, I'm sorry. As a parent of a child with special needs, I was wondering if there's any allocation of time for kids with special needs.
Absolutely. So we weren't able to include that this year because it was our inaugural year. However, that is definitely the next steps because it does require additional training and certification for our staff. So the next few things that we can really take a look at in expanding our program is providing swim lessons, adaptive swim lessons, parent and me swim lessons, as well as even adult swim lessons, because we do have some adults that need to know how to swim. So that's definitely on our radar of how we would like to expand our program. Mm-hmm.
So I have a question on the, excuse me, on the lap swim season pass. Was there 12 available only, or how many passes were available?
So we had an unlimited amount. So you simply had to pay, it was $25 for a resident to pay for the entire summer. However, we had 30-minute blocks Monday through Thursday from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So you were able to just book as many 30-minute sessions as you would like. We only had 12 people that took advantage of that.
Got it. Okay. So for the lap swim where it's noon to 7:30, that's just including just the daily lap swimmers.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, commissioners? Thank you, Gabby, for that report. Any discussion on recommendations, commissioners, on expanding the program? I agree with Bill. I think there's a great need for it. I was just trying to run the what it costs per resident, a participant. Based on attendance of 3653, minus the revenue that we do receive, it's about $55 per resident per attendance to run that pool. How do we get the cost down?
So we can definitely revisit our fee structure. Initially, we took a look at our local cities, saw what was being offered, but of course, moving forward, if we do need to revisit that structure, we can do another market study to just reassess what that may look like for us.
Thank you, Gabby. Any other questions or comments, commissioners, on a recommendation to expand the program?
Sorry to keep going back to the pool, like the pending pool, but has that been taken into consideration as far as like the specs and size of that pool? Once it opens, would we be able to transition both programs to one location, or would it still have to be leasing or renting out space with Heritage and Liberty. I mean, not Heritage and Paloma, excuse me.
So I believe we would definitely take that into consideration as being our primary site. That would make it a lot easier for us as well. But really in the planning and design, just understanding what we really need out of a recreational aquatics program, we would definitely take a look at the amenities there, the depth of the pool, the width of the pool, just in general, the overall design. We would absolutely take a look at that.
We actually brought the conceptual plan for that community, for that park and everything here to commission. And it was Junior Olympics, and we wrote down what a Junior Olympic size pool, but what also was recommended by commission. But when it is going into design, we'll bring that back forward to the commission. So we won't just bring it onto the community. It'll definitely come forth to the commission first.
And if I could just add one more thing related to the question, having our own pool would be amazing. We are anxious and would love to have it, but we wouldn't want to preclude not continuing with a partnership with Paris Union High School District either, because obviously one pool may not be enough to serve the entire community, so we'd probably do, expand if there's funding availability and we're able to find the workforce, young workforce, ever changing. We would, like to do as much as we can to the benefit of Menifee residents.
Thank you. I agree with that. Yeah, we would want geographically, we'd just want to have the program available to as many residents as possible. Is this general budget funds? There's no grants or anything that help offset the cost of this?
Yes, this is all currently general fund. We're always on the lookout for grants that are available to offer this. However, I think the most that we've been able to offset some of our cost is partnering with Santa Rosa Academy and our certification program. So that was a really great opportunity for us. But as far as grants, they've been few and far between specific for aquatic programs, but we will keep looking.
Any other comments, Mo?
I'm sorry, just one more question. On the, I guess on the personnel costs, which seems to be the highest, is there any chance that we can get volunteers, high school kids to volunteer in exchange for credit, school credit?
We can definitely look into that with our partnership with Santa Rosa Academy. They actually have an aquatics program there. So that is something that we're looking into, at least to offset, training, certifications, because they can earn credits. And I believe they're one of the only high schools in California right now that offer the school credits in lieu of being paid.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gabby, for answering all our questions. That's a wonderful program. I'm sure the residents really were pleased to have to see that we're making progress on providing aquatic programs in our city. Thank you. We're now at 8.3, City Holiday Tree. And who's going to lead the discussion?
That'll be me. I was going to say Christmas in July, but it's September. Feels like July. All right, so to give you a brief background, so in October 2022, we had presented some information on our city Christmas tree lighting event and holiday bazaar, and there was some discussion with City Council about whether or not it was time for us to get our own tree. We currently partner with the Mount San Jacinto College, utilize their campus because it's so expansive and there's lots of room for lots of our residents, but we utilize one of their natural trees for our tree lighting purposes. So back in October 2022, we presented to the Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission some options on whether or not we thought it was time for us to purchase our own artificial tree for this event specifically, something that could be up during the entirety of the season, something that we could place on city-owned property. And however, during that presentation, the cost can be a little bit prohibitive. I know we think about artificial trees, you think about what you spend on yours at home. The range of an artificial tree in the size that we're looking at, about 30 feet, fully decorated, things of that nature, cost in between the $60,000 to $70,000 range. So with that being said, we didn't have a consensus on a clear direction on where to go. So from there, we proceeded to present to City Council. in October as well, and looking for clear direction. And so from there, the decision was made that we weren't going to look at purchasing a city tree just yet, just so we weren't going to allocate additional funds for that. For the tree in that year, but that we would look at the potential of adding it as an enhancement to our events, to our seasonal programming in future budget years. So with that being said, city staff are looking ahead, and when we were planning this biennial budget, we're currently in year 2 of the biennial budget, we had asked for an allocation of about $80,000 with the intent of looking at the purchase of a city holiday tree. And just to give you more additional information, brief background on our event components in the budget. So our Christmas tree lighting event is actually one of our definitely most popular events. It's got a $95,000 event budget, and that's primarily for operations. And that mostly comes from the fact that when we did go to City Council in October 2022, when we said we weren't going to get a tree, there was a direction to enhance the event. And so that meant things like more snow, additional amenities and characters. We're looking for items that light up and create those Instagrammable moments, creating the magic of the holiday season. And so with that, this kind of breaks down a little bit of what that $95,000 goes into in each of these areas, with the majority of it being in the snow play area, the photo ops and activities. Facilities, our Christmas tree that we decorate at MSJC is only about $10,000 of that, with the rest of it going to supplies, equipment rentals, things of that nature. So it is a very magical event. Our staff are very proud of it. So I just wanted to give you guys a little background on that as we move on. So in looking at the holiday tree purchasing options, we knew this was in our budget, so staff wanted to go ahead and do kind of an informal look at what the cost would be for purchasing a 30-foot artificial tree. I apologize, I don't have any pictures. We wanted to give you guys the facts first. We have a couple vendors that we reached out to that kind of gave us some preliminary costs. These are all very informal, with the understanding that if we decide to move forward with the purchase of a holiday tree, we would have to engage in the procurement process through the full request for proposal, but it's looking like an average between 65 to 55 depending on the vendor, and city staff is recommending that we include installation, decoration, removal, and storage of the tree as well, simply because the costs that it would take for us to rent out a storage, we're very limited in our storage space, and the amount of staff time who, our staff are great at what they do. Our parks guys are amazing. They help us out tremendously in this event, but their job isn't typically to decorate Christmas trees. So we want the professionals to go out there and take care of this in a much more timely fashion than what it might take our staff to do, because they just don't do this all the time. And then we would have to rent additional supplies. We're talking about the boom lifts, the equipment that the city doesn't actually own. So those things just make it easier for us to say, we want to engage, if we are to purchase an artificial tree, we want to engage with a company that can provide those services as well. So with that in mind, this is what we have for information. And with the installation and decoration, removal and storage, that would be an ongoing cost. That's something we'd have to budget for every year. So starting at between $15,000 and $18,000, depending upon the vendor. If we are to go to the route of an artificial tree, we would repurpose what we spend in the decoration of the current tree to help fund this. So that's just some information for you guys to process. Some other things for consideration, just because, in looking at this, we were kind of hoping we'd be further along on the development of Central Park amenities. So that includes Central Park Amphitheater, which is currently under construction. We're eagerly awaiting the grand opening of that, which is scheduled for summer 2025. If we were to have a location for our city holiday tree, if we're going to invest this amount of money, the direction was to have it on a city facility location, whereas right now our current tree is at MSJC. So, again, it would make sense to maybe, if we don't have a current location for that, then this is something that we need to consider about whether or not we take this action now, or if there's other opportunities. So one of the other things that we wanted to consider is that if we do go the route of purchasing a city holiday tree, we might actually have to separate it from the tree lighting event and the holiday bazaar, simply because Central Park isn't a location that can handle the amount of residents that come out to our tree lighting event. Our tree lighting event averages between 8,000 and 10,000 people, and it's a 4-hour event, and people are coming and going, and Central Park just isn't meant to handle that amount of people, but it doesn't mean that it would lessen either one of those events. We would just have to plan around that. And then also, just because we don't have a location doesn't mean that we can't purchase and implement it in this year's event as well. But we do want to bring forward that there's potential to either reallocate the funding if that was the direction that we receive from City Council. We just want to give the information because we do have a number of unfunded capital improvement projects that are high priority to both Council and the Community Services Department. One of those being the Banner Village Park Playground. We have a wonderful splash pad out there, which gets used very heavily throughout the summer, but we don't have an actual playground at that location. So currently the required funding for that would be about $250,000. We don't have any funding allocated to that at this time, but there are opportunities for matching grant up to $75,000. And then we have the Gale Webb restroom, which we saw at June's Parks, Recreation, Trails Commission meeting that is currently funded for $200,000 and needs about $500,000 to complete. And then some of our bigger projects, things like Evans Park North, where we're in the middle of environmental, not exactly sure what that's going to allow us to do at that location, but of course we want to work towards allocating money to eventually build and develop Evans Park North. And then we have our community center project that is currently in the design phase, where our funding has been allocated and approved specifically for full design, but of course it's going to take a lot to build. So again, these are things that we just wanted to make sure that you had information so that we can have the discussion about the direction on where we want to utilize the $80,000. Of course, this is all dependent upon, these are recommendations that if the discussion that we get from Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission would be a recommendation we would take to City Council, and City Council would ultimately decide what direction we go in. So with that information, we're hoping that you guys can provide some direction, and then city staff can move forward in one way or another.
Thank you, Mariana. I'll defer first to my colleagues here. Tiara, you want to go first?
Yeah, I know with the city of Menifee growing as it is and not having a location big enough to house the amount of people we have showing up to these events already, do you foresee in the future that we're going to have a park or a venue big enough to host the tree lighting event?
I had a similar question. So are we really looking at using the college in perpetuity?
That's a great question. Bryce, you want to talk about any of the, we'll talk about Parks in Progress, but.
Yeah, so size-wise of parks the city maintained, there's not anything there will be some larger 10, maybe 15-acre parks, but there's ideal parks that are in city of Menifee that, 19 acres, 26 acres that are already built. So there are parks that possibly in the city that could be used in future, with events like this where trees can be that, but as of right now, those aren't our city facilities. So they're maintained by other people, but there are parks that are in here. I just want to say that, but ongoing larger parks that are being built are not in the works, other than sports parks like that.
Yeah, and the one thing that makes Mount San Jacinto College so attractive is the wide, expansive area, the parking. When we talk about our parks and some of our parks that are located in neighborhoods and what that does to the residents, and so that's part of what makes it so attractive to continue that partnership there.
Visible off the freeway, so when, as council has wanted, when the trees lit up, to be lit up all the time, so it's something you could always go and see. So driving down the freeway, being able to see that's why a good spot for right now, for the time being, was Mount San Jacinto.
Others, questions, comments? I would hate to see the tree lighting be separated from the holiday event, because that's like the main thing that happens at the event, and that's, you know, it kind of all culminates to that, and then we go off and have fun for the rest of the evening. But I certainly don't want to rob money from any of these other projects that are already potentially, you know, that are on the books, like the restrooms or the community center or the playground that's really needed at Banner Village Park. My recommendation would be to just continue the program as is, and for the time being.
If I could just clarify, the information that was provided on the capital improvement projects was intended to let you know that those were projects that were not currently funded or have lack of funding, and that potentially, if this year we don't move forward with purchasing a holiday tree, could be reallocated to maybe one of those projects.
Bill?
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Faust. I also want to go back to 2022, and I believe there was discussion about having a live tree planted. Did that, and then also now we're with an artificial tree. I just wondering what happened there.
Yeah, it was one of the options. However, I think because of the cost, the cost of a live tree that size was actually more than what an artificial tree would cost. So.
Okay, but we wouldn't be installing it every year. Removing it, storing it every year. It would be there to, okay, I understand.
Well, that was going to be I'm sorry for interrupting, but I had that question as well, and you know, have a real tree and have professional installers come in every year and do the lighting, something they can bring with them and take away at the end of the holidays. Sounds like you guys already talked about this in 2022, but.
But again, that would mean designating a separate site, because we couldn't plant a city tree on the college's property. And we talked about doing that, putting a live tree at Central Park. But to make that work, we would have to separate tree lighting from the actual holiday event, because of the lack of capacity, 8,000 to 10,000 people at Central Park, just not going to work, even with the new proposed parking lot.
How tall is the tree at MSJC right now?
It's not super tall, probably about 35 to 40 feet tall.
So an artificial tree is only like 30 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems like we're not ready yet for a tree. Les, any comments?
I just have one quick question. I definitely agree with Chairman Faust. However, one question. If we do forego the Christmas tree and allow the other projects to take that money, does that impact the current budget for the Christmas tree lighting ceremony as it is now?
No, it does not. It's completely separate.
All right. Good deal. Thank you.
So it sounds like the recommendation is to continue with the existing budget and program. Do I get consensus on that? Yes. And the program we have now at the college is great, and the enhancements that were made beginning 2 years ago? I think 2 years ago now, really improved the whole atmosphere. The tree looks, really wonderful. I mean, for a tree that just was planted there years ago by the college, it's suiting our purpose for right now. And the visibility is awesome. It is nice to drive down the freeway and see it. I still hope that one day we'll have our, and maybe in the future, if Wheatfield Park becomes a part of the city of Menifee's under our domain, that's a great alternative spot, but we're not there yet. So
Yes, and simply because if that's the consensus, just because we're not there this year doesn't mean that when we do feel like we're at an opportunity to make that step, we can still bring that forward for an additional allocation in another future fiscal year.
Okay. Would you like a motion or anything on this, or just our comments are sufficient? Or would you like a motion to proceed?
I would prefer a motion if we can.
Okay, so can I have a motion just to proceed with the holiday tree program?
I'll move to proceed on that one.
As currently,
as we currently are.
as we currently are. And second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
I'm apologies.
Sure.
Do you guys have a recommendation for the reallocation of the funding?
My personal recommendation would be for capital improvements. As far as
Any of those particular projects?
For the purchase of a tree that was the 80, it was the 80,000 that was allocated?
Yes.
Yeah, the Gil Webb restroom project. Sounds like we're unanimous on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. 8.4, Central Park Amphitheater Ad Hoc Committee Appointments. Discuss and appoint 2 Parks and Trails Commission representatives to repurpose Central Park Amphitheater Ad Hoc Committee. Brianna.
That's going to be me again. So let's see. Just to give some brief background, because again, we do have some commissioners that probably haven't been here since 2019 to see the development of the Central Park Amphitheater. So basically, just really quickly, back in February 2019, the ad hoc committee was actually created, and it was mostly comprised of 2 city council members as well as 2 Parks and Recreation Trails Commission members, and it was focused on the design of the Central Park Amphitheater after having gone through several iterations. Really wanted that focus group to capture the identity and essence of Menifee. So between 2019 and 2021, the ad hoc committee met several times with city staff and the design team to determine the direction of the design. In March 2021, City Council approved the conceptual design, which is what we're working toward now, of the Central Park Amphitheater, with the full design contract being awarded in June 2021. The last time the ad hoc committee met was in May 2022, and that was just to kind of revisit the updated engineers' estimates based on full construction cost after everything, all costs have risen post-COVID, just making sure that we were all on the same page and on track. And then in December 2023, after releasing the notice inviting bids on 2 separate occasions, the contract was awarded, the necessary contracts were awarded to begin construction. And so that brings us to February 2024, where City Council had recommended to consider repurposing the existing ad hoc committee, since the design's already been set, we're in construction, to kind of focus it more on what the vision and future programming of the amphitheater is. So moving forward, just so to give you guys an update on what our policies and programming that are currently under development. We know the construction components happening at the park. In the background, us and our administration team are working hard and diligently to kind of come up with some parameters on the usage of this wonderful amenity to the community. And so we're looking to utilize it in similar ways in how we prioritize use of our current facilities, things like the Case Senior Center, Lazy Creek Recreation Center, and our ball fields, looking at the main priority going to city programs and events, then focusing on resident nonprofit organizations. We are looking at potentially giving preference to organizations with an active MOU with the city, because we are looking at formalizing partnerships with nonprofit organizations so that there's clear understanding and mutual benefit to the residents. And then kind of going into residents, and then last, non-residents, I was gonna say last but not least, but so we're looking at this, and so in this being a brand new amenity to the city of Menifee, never having had an amphitheater like this or this type of project, we are looking at proposing, postponing outside use of the amphitheater. Not saying that we're not gonna allow any outside usage of it, but we wanna be able to get a full understanding of what the maintenance of this is gonna be. It's an amazing amenity. We want to keep it looking great. And so just until we get the full understanding of implementation cost and programs regarding maintenance, we may kind of look at outside users kind of phasing those in, not immediately. And believe it or not, we're already getting phone calls of people who want to rent out the amphitheater now. And so looking at that, after we get a full understanding of like a full year of operations, at that point in time, we'd like to look for opportunities for partnerships or contracted services for additional entertainment options to be considered for the residents, because of course it is an amazing amenity and we want it to be used. We want to have a place where residents can come and participate in entertainment. And you know, Central Park, it's the center of our city, and we intend to have some really great events at this facility. And just so you know, we're on schedule for a summer 2025 grand opening, and some of the things that we are going to be moving back to Central Park are going to be things like our Menifee Moonlight Markets, plus the concert series, Movies in the Park, our multicultural festival, looking at bringing back the Music and Arts Festival, and then Shakespeare in the Park. So with all that being said, on August 21st, City Council appointed 2 council members, Councilmembers Sobek and Carwin, to serve on the repurposed ad hoc committee focusing on programming and the vision. So at this point, we'd like to ask the Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission to appoint 2 commissioners to also serve on this ad hoc committee. Again, we're just kind of identifying our committee members, and once we get closer to establishing some guidelines, policies for review, and programming, we'd convene the committee for our first meeting. So, but yeah, any questions? I'd be happy to answer. Otherwise, we'd like to know who wants to serve on the committee.
Thank you, Mariana. I'm excited about the future here. I've driven out to Redlands many times to go to the Redlands Bowl. I don't know if anybody else has done that before, and they have, you know, concerts and plays and things. And it's just, it's a wonderful showpiece in the city. I really hope that our amphitheater will eventually become something of that stature. Commissioners, is there anyone that has strong feelings about being on this ad hoc committee? I'd certainly would like to participate, but Tiara, you're interested? Oh, no? Tiara is? Lass or Mo? We're all, okay. All right, so we're gonna set up a table and have arm wrestling in the back there to see who gets to do it. I mean, this is a fun thing. I know Bill's plugged into the Arts Council, but your future
Yeah,
is going a different direction, right?
possibly, yes.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to get on the ad hoc committee and then have to drop from it, so.
What all does it entail?
So the commitment is relatively low. We anticipate that once we have draft policies, we would convene the ad hoc committee to review that, provide some feedback, discuss the direction. Right, I think looking at maybe 1-2 meetings a month at the most, but meetings typically last about an hour, just depending upon the discussions, and then kind of seeing where the needs lie on whether or not we need to bring the ad hoc committee back together again.
Laz, you're on the MCAC, right, which is going to be reformulated. We're both going to potentially lose our positions there, but and you're interested in this committee?
I mean, it sounds fun.
Yeah, and Tiara? Okay. 2, we only get 2, huh? That's true.
Yes, only 2. Mm-hmm. If you would like to appoint an alternate, that's a possibility.
Sure. Well, I'd like to nominate Tiara and Laz with Mo as an alternate on this committee.
I'm good with that.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Anyone to second that motion?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. All right, there you go. Tiara and Laz.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Community Services Department comments. Our new Director of Community,
Good evening.
Rebecca Kramer, thank you.
Yes, good evening, Commission. Rebecca Kramer. It is a pleasure to be able to join you. I'm very much looking forward to working with such an exceptional group of staff. Just the quality of reporting and what they've put together, I think, is amazing, and it's fun to be a part of that team and to get to work with you as the commissioner. So thank you for welcoming me this evening. A couple of things we just wanted to make sure that you are aware of that was upcoming. We do have a couple of city council workshops on the horizon. Next one being on September the 18th at 4 p.m. We have the Regional Homeless Alliance update. And then on October the 2nd, also at 4 p.m., we will have the Menifee Community Center Design Council Workshop. And then, of course, important date upcoming would be our State of the City event on October the 24th, and we hope that all of you will be able to join us. It would be great to have you, with the theme this year being our hometown heroes. So that's all for our updates, and thank you all for being here.
I have one question on the Menifee Community Center Design meeting. Will that be here in City Hall?
Yes, it will be.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
in council chambers right before a regular council meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for the Director? Okay, 9.2, Parks in Progress update. Bryce.
All right.
Thank you, folks.
Hello again, Commission. So I'll go quick over this slide, and then I'll jump into two updates just for you on here, just so it's not repetitive every month. You know, things are moving along on a couple different projects that are on this. So as you look through here, we obviously have Legato, Sun City, Green Space, Cimarron Ridge, Catalina, and Menifee Valley. Now, Sun City and Cimarron Ridge are the two that are moving along. So Sun City Green Space, that's with Commission, we had an approved conceptual design. So we're about 80% done with the actual design and construction plans for this project. So as you can see, it's going from just your regular plans to some colored plans. You know, it just makes it a little bit more interesting as you go. We're still looking, probably starting construction on this into the end of this fiscal year, you know, into probably springtime, going into summer of next year, that we're looking to start construction on this is our anticipated goal, you know, that we're looking at. So as you all know, there was we had also some, our designer did some 3D designs that are on this. So as if you were walking through the park where you can see your rose garden. We're gonna have a butterfly garden. Our designer's been working with the local Sierra Club, which has been wanting to, that does a lot of the larger butterfly gardens in the county and throughout the region. So we've been getting certain specific plant palettes and everything that will be there. So it'll be a little different than some of the other parks. It's gonna have that very peaceful setting and everything, because it's a passive park. And as you can see now, some of these plants are obviously, this would be, well, this design, it would be like 10 years into it, you know, the growth of the plants and the trees. Obviously, when we plant it, it's not going to be 35-foot trees yet, but it will take some time for that to grow. But this is the end design that we're looking at. So that's Sun City. And then also is the update for Cimarron Ridge. So Cimarron Ridge, we're on the second plan review. I met 2 weeks ago with the developer just to go over our original plan checks, just to make sure everything's good. So this plan check, I think, will be the last one, and we'll be able to start. They'll most likely get approved plans with that, and they'll be able to start construction here in the next few months. But it's a 10-acre park, has 2 softball fields, a multi-purpose field that all of them are going to be lit. Reason we say softball field, yeah, we can play baseball on it as well, but there'll be 60-foot bases, but they'll have 200-foot fence lines on there. So baseball, the younger ones, that's good for, but we might be able to put softball here possibly and just keep baseball at Centennial, or do, you know, just softball could even use either of them, but that's why we're calling it softball. It's more of for for that type of field. We'll have a covered tot lot, as you can see there. It'll have some special needs things that are on there. We always want to be an adaptive playground and everything for all needs that's there. This park will also have a dog park. It'll have a restroom that'll have a concession stand for the sports fields. And then there will be 5 picnic shelters throughout the park, and that 2 of those are just at the dog park. So there will be a lot of shade for people to sit at, enjoy the park that's going on there. But again, these are the 2 updates that we have for, that are realistic updates, you know, that we have for Parks in Progress. So if you have any questions, that's all I have for this.
Any questions for Bryce?
For the Sun City Park, is there going to be, I see a little red top here in the picture, but is there going to be shaded areas?
So there will be a shaded area. In this, it has a metal structure, but it'll actually be, it'll be a shade covers, shade sails like that, but it will have a shaded areas in there, correct?
Great, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Bryce. 9.3, solid waste and recycling update, Corey.
Hi, good evening, Commission. It was a pretty busy summer, pretty active summer for our solid waste and recycling, our Menifee Recycles public outreach team. We hosted 7 community event booths at various city events over the summer. We provided 2 presentations, one at the Menifee Library as part of their summer reading program. It was pretty well received, so we're in talks of coming back next year to present to the kids that participate in that program. We also did a couple presentations at the Sun City Mobile Home Estates HOA community. As far as upcoming events, just to please save the date for the next large bulky item drop-off event. This will be Heritage High. This will be one of our larger events, accepting e-waste, used tires, and we'll have the compost mulch giveaway again as well, so while supplies last. I also want to note, and I will bring more information back at our next meeting, we will be asking Council to proclaim the first week of October as Clean Air Week in Menifee, and so we will do a series of social media posts. We may do a contest, and we will do an employee event, and that'll end off on the Saturday with the electric car expo at MSJC. So the other program I'd like to highlight, we received grant funding from CalRecycle to provide EcoHero outreach presentations at 10 schools within the city. So those representatives are currently reaching out to schools to gauge interest in setting up a assembly or presentation for students. And those shows are pretty much geared toward recycling education in a fun, music-driven, interactive way. And we routed 55 illegally dumped bulky item requests over the last 2 months. And I also would like you to save the other date for our shred event, which is currently scheduled for November 2nd at 8 a.m. At the City Hall parking lot.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Corey?
Actually, I got a question.
Go ahead, Les.
Corey, I'm just curious, the compost that's available, where does that come from?
Waste Management provides it as part of our franchise agreement. So yeah, they have several compost facilities, 3 in the area, so they'll provide that for free distribution to the community.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. We'll go to 9.4, Recreation Division update.
Okay, so for our Recreation Division update, we have our attendance slide here. Typical things, the month of August, we're back to school. Our programs at Lazy Creek are in full swing, things like after-school program and our teen hangout. When we provide this information, it's just to kind of give you an idea of the type of participation we get in a number of our different activities and programs and facilities. One thing I do want to note on this slide is that we've added a line at the bottom that says supporting event participants. And I just want to explain what that means. And essentially, our special events team is really great at what they do, and oftentimes are sought out to assist other departments, other nonprofit organizations, organizations in organizing their own events. And so when we add information such as supporting event participation for the month of August, that was when our special event team helped out with our police department on National Night Out, which took place on August 6th. So in case you had any questions on that, the rest of it is similar information that you'll see on most of our other reports, but supporting events, just that's us helping out our team. And so for the summer, we did have a number of contract class camps, not just those that are hosted at the facilities, so nice little pictures of kids having fun. Moving on to the revenue update, we wanted to provide an overview for the month of August, which is the second month in our fiscal year. And again, our contract class revenue continues to be our bread and butter when it comes to the money that we bring in. So those are things like the Polynesian dance, ballet folklorico, taekwondo, all of those fun things that take place at our city facilities and at some of our parks. We do want to point out that we have a couple new class offerings this summer, or this fall. Things like Build-A-Bot, Roblox Studio, Toddler Time, theaters and improv. So those are all opportunities. And with the new Menifee Matters that just came out this fall, all that information is in there. And we encourage anybody interested in finding something for either yourself or your child, looking for a new interest to get them active and into something. Our contract classes are always expanding, and encourage people to go to the city website for community services. For our Recreation Division update, Aisha provided a lot of information about the Quesada Senior Center, so I think all of that has already been discussed. The one thing she might have missed is that we are bringing back senior excursions to football games. So what we've done in the past is offered opportunities for our seniors to meet up at the Quesada Senior Center and then go and cheer on our local high schools, so under Friday Night Lights. Actually, this one's on Saturday. So the first one will be on Saturday, September 14th at 6 p.m. And we encourage anybody who's interested to visit the Quesada Senior Center for more information on how to sign up. We will provide transportation from the KC Center to Paloma Valley, Heritage. It's Paloma Valley versus Heritage, but I want to say it might be at Heritage. So we also have a number of other opportunities, things like Parents Night Out. That's taking place at Lazy Creek Recreation Center for parents who need an opportunity and a place to take their kids. We'll be happy to take care of them while you have a great time. Encourage people to sign up for that early. That does tend to sell out rather quickly. And then we also have our Menifee Moves program that's going to be taking place at parks throughout the city of Menifee. One more slide. We have the return of our youth basketball league. We are currently accepting registration for our basketball league that takes place. Practices will take place at Menifee Parks, but games are typically held at Santa Rosa Academy. For $85 for residents, you are guaranteed a uniform, reversible uniform, at least 7 games, a team photo, opportunity to participate in a team sport with coaches and our team that will be out there helping kids experience youth basketball. So again, we're taking registration early, but games are scheduled to start in January. So again, this is one of our more popular leagues, and we do see some of the divisions fill up quickly, so we do encourage people to sign up as early as possible, because we also do skills assessments to ensure that kids get placed on the appropriate teams and everybody has a great time playing. I did mention our regular year-round programming, our after-school adventures program, which is at Lazy Creek Recreation Center, and then our teen hangout, which takes place at Lazy Creek Recreation Center. Both of these are great opportunities if you're looking for a place to hang out after school. For Lazy Creek, the After-School Adventures program is as low as $2 a day. Monthly registration is required, but they do quality programming. And we encourage anybody who's looking for preschool programming to also take a look at what we have to offer for Tiny Tots. That concludes my report for the Recreation Division.
Thanks. You want to move right to special events?
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I
I
did have just want to point out the Lazy Creek Recreation Center. We commend the Menifee staff there. There's long-term people who've been there for a while. And every year, my 8-year-old daughter goes there and takes a couple of workshops, and they're very welcoming and usually remember her. So really appreciate them.
Yeah, Lazy Creek has a really great culture there. We see a lot of our participants grow up in our preschool program, go to our after-school program, become our youth leaders of Menifee, and then we hire them. So, so it's the circle of life.
Anyone else have questions? Okay, then we'll move forward to special events update.
All right, now that summer, well, I was gonna say summer's officially over, but it's really hot, so it doesn't feel like it. We do have a number of programs that are coming up, special events. Our next one is happening at the K. Sinacero Senior Center. This is our pop-up paint night. It's an opportunity to express your artistic abilities with an instructor and kind of lead you through how to create your own artwork. So that is taking place on Friday, September 20th. The fee is relatively nominal, so I encourage anybody who's interested in just exploring art to please come on out and participate. Starting October 1st, we will have our Haunt Your House. Applications will be available. So again, this is also a very competitive program. People are really proud to have those signs on their lawn, but encourage anybody who's interested to please head to the city website to fill out the application. And then the first week of October, we are proclaiming as Clean Air Week here in Menifee. So we have the return of our electric car show and Clean Air Expo taking place at Mount San Jacinto College on Saturday, October 5th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. A number of activities for all ages. We'll have a lot of our resource booths from local organizations. Our park rangers will likely be out there, as well as a number of other city booths and local organizations. And then that brings us right into some of our bigger events. Our Fall Festival will take place on Saturday, October 19th from 4 to 8 p.m. at Mount San Jacinto College. Again, this is another well-attended event. The return of the Sun City Cruisers hosting the Trunk or Treat will also be a part of this event. And then we are encouraging our residents to please bring a donation. For the alternatives to domestic violence, they're going to be accepting toiletries or cash donations in lieu of the city charging for the fund zone. We would like residents to support one of our local nonprofits. So again, that is returning. And then the very next weekend, we have our Day of the Dead, which will be at Mount San Jacinto College on Saturday, October 26th from 4 to 8 p.m. with lots of cultural activities and artwork and live entertainment. This is a really great event to kind of get an opportunity to experience what the culture of the Day of Dead is all about. So encourage anybody who is interested to please come on out and join us. And then we have a couple save the dates, things that are happening in the later fall, but just want to make sure you guys get on your calendars. So the second one being our Extreme Light Fight, which is the Christmas decoration. We go right from Halloween right into Christmas, which is opening, the applications are opening November 22nd. We have the return of our Trot for a Cause, which will still be taking place on the Paloma Wash Trail, but we're going to be moving the event location to Santa Rosa Academy on Saturday, November 23rd. And then our Christmas tree lighting and holiday bazaar at Mount San Jacinto College on Saturday, December 7th. And so we'll likely be reaching out to find out who wants to participate in our parade. So I believe that concludes my report for special events, unless there's any questions.
Awesome. Any questions for?
I do have a question, more of a comment. So, church I go to, we've been seeing a number of special needs kids, children. And I was wondering if for the Fall Festival, we can have, prior to the event, have like a sensory-friendly get-together for kids and, you know, maybe adults who may enjoy or will enjoy something like that. Just want to throw it out there.
Yes, that was part of our discussion when it came to adaptable and all-inclusive programming to try and incorporate a all-inclusive component into the event. I know staff are still working out the details of what that will be like for the Fall Festival, but you know, initially we thought like, hey, maybe we can get started an hour early and let, you know, children come and participate. However, people are arriving to this event earlier and earlier every year. So then we're looking to opportunities to maybe provide some sensory accessories. That's what I'm thinking about. So if kids are kind of inundated with the noise, you know, maybe some noise canceling headphones, things of that nature. So we're still working out the details in our partners, but we are looking at implementing some type of all-inclusive component to all of our citywide special events going forward.
Great. If there's anything I can help with, I'd be happy to help.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mariana? Okay, 9.6 capital improvement program update. Bryce.
Okay. Yeah, I have a few updates. Especially, I'd like to encourage everybody for the La Piedra Community Center to show up at 4 p.m. for that workshop with City Council here at Council Chambers on the October 2nd. A couple other updates are the park lighting, which is the pump track and some bollards that we got. It's 25 bollards, another 14 lights that we got for the pump track. So all those were actually delivered earlier this week. We're working on getting the foundation permits for those, and everything should be installed sometime by the end of October. But in October, we'll have those, and the lights that are going, I've mentioned before, that are going to be at the pump track. So it'll just be on the asphalt pump track, and then in the parking lot, the lights will be on until about 9. It would be great for times like today when I don't know how cool it is even when it's getting dark out today, but you know what I mean. So you could ride a little longer on the pump track. You won't be able to ride the trails, but at least the pump track, it gives the community a little bit more time, especially going into winter time. They'll be able to use that. The EL Pete Peterson, I'd like to let everyone know the dog park will probably be closed up to 2 weeks starting next Monday. We are doing the renovation on that. So the fencing will start, moving some of the concrete and that, and then we'll be putting in the new amenities, drinking fountains and stuff inside the dog park. But that will start next Monday, and it take about 2 weeks, we're estimating. So the dog park there at EL Pete Peterson Park will be closed for 2 weeks. It's an inconvenience, but it'll be worth the inconvenience for that short amount of time for once we open that back up. Another one would be the Laladera Park enhancements. The parking lot will actually be resurfaced there on the 21st of this month. It's a Saturday, so that one, and then also the senior center that parking lot will be closed. We're resurfacing both on the same time. And then also we had our kickoff meeting for the other phase 2 of the Laladera Park and enhancements. I had that kickoff meeting actually today, but which will be the baseball field, possibly fencing, and then the Musco lighting that we're getting designed for that park. And once I have the conceptual, looks like possibly next month for commission, I'll be able to have that so I can bring that forward so you guys can see what we're going to be doing at Laladera. It's a small project, but it's big. It's small but big, for that park. The project also includes the shade sails that will be going over the playground. So it's one of our larger playgrounds that it's not covered fully shade. So that one will be covered here real soon. And that's all I have for updates for the capital improvement. If you guys have any questions on any of the projects we have going on.
Questions, commissioners?
So Laladera Park is getting lights, the softball area?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So that's what we're looking at. It's part of the CIP project that we have funding for, is for the lighting for that softball field, or the baseball field, and adding another ball field there as well, ball diamond. So they'll both be obviously a little smaller for probably 10 and under, but there is a lot of youth in this community, especially with the lights, trying to get fields. The lights are probably the biggest thing that the leagues and everybody would really want. So it'll help. They don't bleed. It's not going to affect any of the neighbors that are there. So just like we have it at some of the other parks.
What is the ballpark, no pun intended, for it to be completed?
I don't have an estimated completion date on that for the ballpark to be completed. But if I were to say, we would probably start construction anytime springtime of this year into spring or summer of 2025.
Great, thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions, commissioners? Thank you. Bryce, go into maintenance division report 9.7.
Yeah, so we had, as you can see, our facilities, we had 93 work orders submitted. We had 92 completed, a great completion rate there. And then we had 564 submitted. We completed 512 of those that were submitted. We have 52 still in process. We actually, over the next 2 weeks, there's a lot of things coming in. One of our playgrounds, we've been waiting for almost a year. They've sent us the wrong manufacturer, or the wrong part for 3 different times. So we actually have the right part coming there. We can't just go buy a playground part from any manufacturer. You know, you have to use that specified one. So we have that one coming in, and there's a lot of little things that we're going to be able to start closing out for some of those work orders that are there. But our parks team is extremely busy right now, especially sports are picking back up. So we're not just doing the maintenance of the irrigation, the restrooms, planting. They also are chalking the baseball fields, painting the lines for the football program. If soccer needs it, they're doing that. So we have a machine that obviously does that, that helps us with that. But the guys are out there. That's just the painting, but the guys are out there doing all that. So they are pretty busy out there. As you can see, most of our 50% of our is that park maintenance. So that park maintenance could be anywhere from that ball field chalking to repairing a restroom that could be clogged, or a sink or anything like that, cleaning off benches and that. So the next one that would be there is our irrigation repairs that are on there. So that is all I have for the maintenance update, and then I will go in. Oops, I'm sorry, I forgot I have the park ranger update as well. So moving on to the park rangers. So July we had 407 visits at the parks. We had 432 in August. You'll see that number actually increase because we've had you met Ranger Marino earlier, so we're able to start splitting them up now. There will be more coverage, so it'll look like a little bit more park visits that are there. We had 8 volunteers. Most of those are for when we did the dig session there at the pump track. And then we've actually reached out in August to 1,100 different youth going to the schools around here for the intern programs. That includes meeting Girl Scouts at the parks. So we've met just in August. July was 175, and then in August 1,100. It's a good active. The Ranger is really active in the community that way with their intern programs and teaching, and everybody's enjoying that at the schools. And then as you can see on there, the Menifee, the Park Ranger School Outreach, and that's what I'm talking about where we're doing that. So I'd recommend any of the schools, and we've been reaching out, if you know anybody that's a teacher or anything like that, we definitely would encourage you to reach out to us or give them our contact, the Ranger contact info. And you could do parkranger@cityofmenifee.us and email there, just so we can come to the school and teach. It could go along with your curriculum. It could just be something different for the kids to get out of class and do something a little entertaining for them. So, but that's all I have for our update. If you have any questions for maintenance.
Thank you, Bryce. Yeah, I did have some questions about what's going on at Spirit Park. I'm sorry, Audie Murphy Sports Park. Snow fence is still up? Are we?
No, that was removed earlier this week. So
Okay.
we had hydro-seeded the park, and then some of the areas didn't take, so we sodded it, and it took a little longer for the sod. It just wasn't. We didn't consider it safe. We didn't want people running around on it, and it hadn't rooted all the way. So we had to close it for an extra 2 weeks, but it is open now.
Okay. Yeah, on social media, there was some pictures that were posted about the sod patches there at the park that were dead.
Yeah, so it's a Bermuda grass. So it looks dead on top. You try to pull it up, it's actually rooted. So that Bermuda will come back in there. So that's why it's left there. I know it looks bad on there, but if you actually look underneath, it's alive. So that's why we were able to leave that into there.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Bryce? Commissioners? Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Bryce. Appreciate that. We're at agenda item 10, Commissioner reports on committee activities. Anybody have anything they'd like to report? I'll start us off with, I was able to attend National Night Out on August 6th. That was just a wonderful place, a wonderful event. As usual, well-attended. Parking, it was pretty rough over there in that small, it was at Centennial Park, right? So it's pretty much neighborhood parking, or parking if you're lucky enough to get a primo spot on the block there around the park. But it was a wonderful event. And also, I was able to attend the Menifee night at Storm Stadium on August 15th. That was a lot of fun, and I know it was kind of kind of a last-minute thing, but I hope it becomes an annual event. Any other comments or questions, Laz?
So let's see here. Going back to June, right? It's been a while. The Independence Day Parade was actually quite a bit of fun. I was a little jealous of Chairman Faust's throne in the back of the pickup truck. But the parade was a lot of fun. I kind of feel like as, you know, the events where we throw candy, we might need a city-provided, let's call it policy or procedure of how and when we should be throwing the candy out, because I always seem to get too much candy out of the, you know, the moving vehicle well before we're done with the parade. So just, I need to work on my candy throwing. Yeah. Parks Make Life Better presentation at the City Council meeting in July. That was it was a beautiful presentation. It was actually really cool to see. And then, you know, obviously National Night Out, as Commissioner Faust has mentioned. And the Menifee baseball game was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Oh, when you said back to June, I'm like, wow, there's
Yeah,
been
I
a
forgot
lot
too.
going on. I was able to be a part of the Independence Day Parade, not as a commissioner, but as a representative in the community with the kids that I coach. So that was a fun experience for myself, but also to watch the kids. For most of them, that was their first time ever being in a parade. So I think having opportunities like that to get more and more people in the community involved in the process is amazing. I also attended the Parks Make Life Better event here, and it was really cool. It's really nice just to acknowledge how important parks are and the value, especially over the summer. Like, we did a lot of the movies in the park. We brought my dog out. A lot of the events where we have live music, and you don't realize, like, that's such a central piece where we as a community can come together, and it's not like, oh, we have to reserve a space or anything. It's just there for us as green space. So that was really cool, and to be able to catch up with each other for a moment was also nice. I am so glad we did the Menifee night at Storm. Me and my husband went. I do not like baseball, just so you know, like, at all. Like, I that's the last thing I would want to do. But I'm like, I should go. Let me just go and see. And we had the best time. We were able to also meet with other representatives that were connected with the city, even though we weren't in the city. But it was so fun, and hopefully we can continue to do things like that more often. But it was a great opportunity. And then the last thing that I was able to do was the youth leaders of Menifee, the interviews for the officers. Every single time I do anything regarding, like, kids in high school, I'm always blown away. But, like, hey, the fact that they show up, some of them are just really nice. A lot of them were well-spoken. It was a very hard decision. It was a hard decision last year. It was even harder this year as they get more and more kids coming in. But it was really cool to see, and then also seeing them again today, now that they've been picked, was nice. So I'm excited to see how this year, the school year for them, goes as they move and navigate in their volunteer roles.
Thank you, Tira. Anyone else? I second everything everybody else has said. The 4th of July parade was a lot of fun. My daughter rode with me, and she asked, we were in the backseat of a car, and she asked how to roll down the window. And it has a crank. She goes, Daddy, where's the button? How do we roll down the window? But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I also did the baseball event. It was a last-minute decision for me, and I'm really glad I did go. There was a lot of people there that I know from here. Yeah, and the events that happened throughout the summer, again, Lazy Creek, my daughter did a couple of workshops there. That was a lot of fun. And she rekindled with some friends that she's met over the years. Just as a city, we're a big city, but we still kind of feel like a small city because we run into the same kind of people. So something I very much appreciate here. Thank you.
Thank you. I was also, excuse me, able to be on the panel with Commissioner Tremblay with the youth leaders of Menifee, and it's very refreshing to be with those youth, and they're very articulate, and it's just a wonderful experience. And the Independence Day celebration, you guys just do a tremendous job with that, and that's just a huge day. Kudos to you for putting that on. And I participated in the parade with with another nonprofit, and having judging this year for the first time. That was kind of fun. So you would stop and do a little routine or something, and so that was kind of fun to see. So thank you.
Your shopping cart routine was pretty good, too.
Yeah, we won most entertaining. So.
But if I'm going to sit in the throne chair behind, in the back of a truck, I want a crown and a mitre, next time. It's pretty funny. Yeah. And I want to note that Commissioner Peterson now is the mascot for the Trot for a Cause now, too, with his turkey hat, too.
We'll be up in that one this year. We'll go for
That's
something
always
better.
a lot of fun. And I think Commissioner Ackerman was a winner of one of the
I'll be back to
races.
defend my crown, yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Number 11, future agenda request. Do we have any new requests for future agenda items from the commissioners? Hearing none. And are we still on track for updates on Heritage Park for fall 2024 and field allocation policy review? Also in 20?
Yes,
in the
we're
fall?
still on track.
Super. Thanks. Any other comments or questions, commissioners? Then I will ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll motion.
Okay, second.
I'll second that one.
Okay, thanks. Then this meeting's adjourned at 7:59. Thank you all for your attendance, and thank you for those at home that are watching and listening in. Have a great weekend.